bio, and today for Mindy's Mindset Honest Conversations with Queens, I have Kailyn with us.
Hello.
Hi, thank you so much for joining. Can
Of
you tell
course.
I see you have a sash on. Can you tell us a little bit about the system?
So I'm part of Ultimate International Miss, and I'm the Ultimate International Miss Nebraska. It's a fairly new system. This is only their second year. And in June, I will be heading to internationals in Orlando.
Ooh, that's awesome, exciting. I believe I saw on Facebook or Instagram you guys are at the Caribe Royale.
Yeah, I'm going back. I love that place. I'm excited.
Yes, it was very beautiful. You missed their chicken nuggets, you said?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. All right, guys. So, as we know, my channel is all about talking about mental illness with pageant queens or those throughout the community and in society. So, I have Kailyn here today, and she told me she suffers from anxiety, OCD, and PTSD. Is that correct?
Yes, and also as of yesterday, I was officially diagnosed with depression, although that was kind of suspected for a long time now.
Yeah. Do you mind telling us a little bit about those? How do they affect your daily life, suffering with these illnesses?
So I feel like my OCD presents itself the most, and I have like repetitive behaviors such as like washing my hands multiple times. Like for instance, or not for instance, mine specifically shows up in something called contamination OCD, and so that is why I wash my hands multiple times, or like I'll watch what I'm doing to make sure that like I'm not worried about things being contaminated, and I have had to learn to work with that because I can't let this stop me from going out and enjoying life and doing everything that I want to do. As far as my anxiety, that just presents itself like as overthinking. I mean, there's not really much details to go into as far as that one. I just overthink a lot of things. So I've been working on that. And then my PTSD, that can be triggered by a bunch of different things. So like my PTSD is kind of complex. It stems from a few different things, and so one of the things is I was sexually assaulted, and so when I drive by that place that I was sexually assaulted, um, I get triggered. And another thing it stems from is I was physically and verbally bullied, and it was at two different schools, but I actually moved cities, so I don't ever drive by my old school, but my new one that I was bullied at, driving by there, it's actually right by my house. So I drive by there a lot. It obviously triggers me, and so I try to avoid driving by there if I can, but obviously I can't avoid it every time. And then my depression, that shows up in like just random moments of feeling hopeless and like just sad all the time, as well as I struggle with suicidal ideation.
Wow. I want to thank you for opening up about being sexually assaulted. You're very brave for opening up about that and for reaching help. I know many women, I've never been sexually assaulted, but I know many women in your position, they're scared to tell others or reach out for help. So just know you are brave for doing that.
Thank
And with anxiety, I'm the same way. My anxiety shows up in overthinking. It definitely takes a toll on your day for sure if it's one of those bad days, and I suffer from suicide ideation as well. So it's definitely a challenge, but that's what this conversation is all about, connecting with mental illness and opening up to others. So, with your mental illnesses, did you reach out for help, or was someone kind of more like, Kaylin, I see you're struggling, you should maybe reach out for help?
So, um, actually first like started showing signs of mental illness at age 5, and obviously I didn't really know much about it then. So at that time my mom and dad put me in therapy, and so I was in therapy off and on throughout my whole life because of their choice, but I had stopped for a while because I didn't like it as a child when I was forced to go. But then after I was sexually assaulted, I was really struggling with the trauma from that, on top of like all my other traumas and like mental illnesses. So I decided that I needed to go back to therapy. So that time it was my choice to reach out for help.
Awesome. That's beautiful. I love that your parents noticed you were struggling at such a young age. As a mental health advocate, I believe it's really important to pay attention to children at such a young age. I mean, you mentioned you didn't like to going to therapy, what 5-year-old really would, but the fact that your parents noticed and reached out for help and took you somewhere, that's amazing.
I agree.
I really appreciate that. Since your mental health journey, what have you learned about yourself?
I have learned that I am strong, but my strength only comes from God. I'm huge in my faith. And so I have to turn to Him, especially when I'm struggling, because I'm not going to let Satan win. God always wins, and He's on my side, and He gives me strength. And when my mental health actually started getting worse a
Mhm.
couple years ago, I've always been Christian, but I decided I needed to really grow more in my relationship with Jesus. And so I started taking time on my own to study the Bible and connect with him more.
That was beautiful, Kaylin. With you mentioned you go to therapy. Do you happen to take any medications, or do you do um alternative methods to help you with your mental illness?
I do take medication. I've been taking medication since I was 8, actually. So I've been taking it for a while now.
Yeah. Do you feel that it helps you? Starting just, I know me personally, I started just medication. I've been on it for about 2 years now, but I needed therapy, and doing them both together really helped me. How does that work for you?
I agree that I need the combination of both. Like just one by itself, I feel like won't benefit me that much. And so having the combination of both, and also like my therapist, like for instance, can realize side effects from my meds or something. So like when my side effects was the suicidal ideation, and so like she suggested going to a psychiatrist to get that checked out. And so now we've got all that figured out. So I think it's important for me to take my meds and also go to therapy.
Yeah, very beneficial for sure. What are some distractions that you do for yourself on your hard days?
So I really love grounding techniques. I use a lot of those, but I love to sleep. And so if I have nothing going on, I might as well sleep and give myself like it's like pushing the restart button. And I also am very grateful to have Melissa, you know her. Um,
Yes.
she is so great, and she has been with me um, through my darkest times.
Aw,
I was in a very low point, like a few months ago, and she was with me through that. And we FaceTime every day, so she definitely helps distract me and keep me on track.
that's awesome. I love that. You mentioned you do some grounding techniques. Do you mind explaining that a little bit more?
So I my favorite is the 5 4 3 2 1 technique. So it's 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you can taste. That's my favorite. I also recently learned this new one where like you do 3 big hugs and then 3 deep breaths. Like that's just an easy one, but it works pretty good. And another one of my favorites is wait, which one was it? Oh yeah, I like box breathing. Um, I I learned that one a few months ago, and I like that one a lot too.
Awesome. I love all those techniques. For those who are listening, what's your biggest advice you'd have to give them?
To reach out for help because it is so hard to do things on your own. If I didn't have my therapist, I might not actually be alive. Considering what I went through a few months ago with my suicidal stuff, and you don't have to go through it alone. So definitely reach out for help.
Yes. For those who are listening, like Caitlin said, there is help out there and you are not alone. Caitlin, what is that number people can call if they are struggling?
1-800-273-8255.
Yes, that is the suicide prevention line, guys. And just to know, you don't have to be suicidal to call that number. You can be struggling, you can be in your darkest point. They will they will talk to you, they will reassure you. Kaylin, you are brave, you are strong, and you are beautiful. You have such a positive message to give to others around you, and that is the point of this. I want others to know what us queens or not queens have been through. Mental illness is real and it affects all of us. It affects me, it affects Kailyn, it affects all these other girls on my channel. And to believe we are still here today is a blessing to all of us. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Kailyn. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.